From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Show, and a happy Saturday to you. On today's 2-hour program, we're going to talk to John Gray, Gulf Coast Auto Shield. We're going to talk about summer and fall car care. We're going to talk about window tint, car coatings, etc., etc. It's all coming up. We're also going to talk to Circle Track racing promoter Gina Child Knowles about next weekend's event at Houston Motorsports Park, and also what it's like putting together the weekly events at a racetrack. And I think that she's going to give you some insider news that you won't believe. We're also going to have in the new car showroom reviews of the Nissan Versa and the Nissan Murano. Yep, it's an all Nissan showroom this weekend. We'll give you an in-depth review of each. We got this week's automotive news, Conrad's Car Clinic, and more. Just ahead on today's 2-hour In-Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, August 29th, 2020. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars and King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us today. And it's a beautiful Saturday here in Houston, Texas, and it's been quite a week with the Hurricane Laura, and Mr. Mars was affected by that, had to actually move out of Nederland.
He evacuated, but we didn't even think that he was going to be with us today, but clearly he is with us today. Kind of.
And you got to fly over.
As much as Mars can ever be with us, if you know what I mean.
But you got to fly over the damage as well.
Sit down, and please say something.
Howdy, Mom.
All right. There is that. Yeah, yes, I did get to fly over the damage in Louisiana, and it was eye-opening and devastating to see all of that over there around the Lake Charles area. And our prayers are with all those folks over there, and the best of luck to each and every one of them, because I'll tell you what, they have got a massive recovery effort that's going to take them years to recover from.
Yeah, I think talking to Mike, the Beaumont, Port Arthur area wasn't as damaged as it was from Rita, but I imagine Lake Charles was more damaged than Rita.
And I expected what Lake Charles got from the pictures I saw and what we were talking about that you saw when you flew over it. That's what I was expecting to go back to.
Well,
I'm so
thank
blessed
God that you didn't.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. All right, well, let's get on with the show. And joining us right now via Zoom, we've got John Gray from Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Johnny, it's great to see you, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy Saturday over there at your megaplex off of 59, the Southwest Freeway, and Bissonnette. So let's get right to it, John, and talk about what you've got going on over there. We were talking to John right before we went on the air today and saying, hey, you know what's going on. Every time I've ever been over there, not only does he have a tire shop that is jam-packed, and we're going to go out there in a little bit, jam-packed with cars. He's got cars out front waiting to get in.
They're stacked like cordwood out there.
You got to park down the street and walk.
Well, you know, and we've talked about that, and I guess it's a testament to everybody about the success of John's actual efforts over there at Gulf Coast Auto Shield. And so why did you name it Gulf Coast Auto Shield? Let's start with that.
Well, I named it Gulf Coast Auto Shield because I didn't want to be a detail shop, or I didn't want to be known as a detail shop. The things that we do here are more protective services. So, you know, window tint is a protective service. Paint protection film is a protective service. The ceramic coatings are a protective service. So it's more than just, way more than just detailing. It's more about protecting your investment and protecting your car. And so I thought, also radar detectors, that's another protective service that we offer. So it's more than just detailing and whatnot. I wanted to be known as a place where you could get your car protected.
And so the interesting conversation that we were having right before we went on the air, we asked him, said, John, so what's the deal? What's the hot item over there? And you said, window tint. And I'm going, wait a minute. I've been doing window tint since window tint was available on the cars back in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, but you did the lick and stick window tint.
That's right.
You bought yours at AutoZone or J.C. Whitney and put it on. John puts on some pretty high-tech stuff.
But so, John, the question is, why all of a sudden has window tint exploded? I mean, I don't get it. What's the deal?
Well, I tell you, window tint is so much different today than it was, say, 5 years ago. You know, you can get a window tint now that is virtually clear, and it's going to reject a bunch of heat. And so not only is that going to make the car more comfortable when you get into it, but it's going to your car's going to work less. Your car's going to work less hard when it comes to the air conditioning system.
Right.
And you've got so many more electric cars now on the road. The big hitters right now, the Tesla Model 3 and the Model Y. These clients are obsessed with range and with battery life, and so they're putting on some really, really high-end stuff on virtually every piece of glass in that car, and it does make a difference. It makes a difference in the range on the car.
Well, it takes the load off the air conditioner that sucks down the battery.
Right. If the AC works less time, then the battery range expands.
So, John, whenever we say window tint, I mean, I always visualize getting darker, and how dark can you make it legally and all that. But you're saying that window tint doesn't necessarily have to be that way?
Not at all. I've got window tint that we put it on windshields, and technically the state doesn't like that, but it's done in such a way that I'd never have anybody fail an inspection or get stopped for it. And
because you can't see it.
Because you really can't see it. And you will notice also less glare from headlights coming towards you, and it visually just makes what you're seeing sharper.
So really, the term window tint doesn't necessarily apply. It's window treatment, really.
Yeah, kind of. But you can go down and get your window film. Most people are getting the 30% all the way around, which is your standard, legal window film in the state of Texas that you put on the front too. Maybe they get it darker, a little darker in the back, but it does not have to have a lot of tint in it to actually reject a lot of heat. And oh, by the way, you will probably see us moving into a new arena involving tint, and that's residential window film and commercial window film. We're going to try to get that going here shortly.
Oh, wow.
Because the same technology in the automotive world has is moved over into window film for homes and for businesses. So there's a little bit more complication with doing that, because you've got different types of low E glass, double pane glass, and whatnot.
Right.
So you've got to really know what you're putting on what glass, but man, it can make a difference in your AC bills at your house and your business as well if you do it.
So window tint. Okay, so let's move on now and let's talk about. Actually, let's start with paint correction, because we got to do the paint correction before we can put any kind of a coating on it, ceramic coating, etc. So you guys specialize in actually doing paint correction. So if I've got a new car, let's face it. I mean, today's factory paint jobs are pretty darn good. Do you actually have a business where you take a brand new car and do paint correction on it?
All the time, and I've got one outside that I'm going to walk outside and show you. We've got a new Porsche GT4, which is just absolute monster of a car.
Well, let's go out and take a look at it.
It takes one wash from a dealership to screw up the paint job.
Wow.
And that's it. And that's the truth.
So just John looking at it's going to screw up the paint job after the way he used to treat cars.
That's right.
Hey, John, what is the component in this tint you're talking about that does such a good reflective job without putting a color change on the glass?
Well, there's nanoceramic particles in these films, and you're asking. I'm not a scientist.
But you stayed at a Holiday Inn last night, right?
That's right. But there's nanoceramic particles in there, and the quality of these nanoceramic particles will dictate how much tint or how much heat they will reject. So this car right here is the Porsche GT4, and you can see we're kind of working on it. It's got a full front clear bra on it, and we're doing some ceramic. Yeah, we're doing some ceramic coating. Well, the big deal is it's a white car, and if you look at the fender, you're not going to see a color change between the fender and it's protected and the door that doesn't have clear bra on it.
So you run it all the way back, the whole fender then. You go back to that body section point instead of just a line like maybe right behind the headlights or something.
Yeah, that's correct. And the reason why on this car is the guy's going to track this car, which is exactly what he should do with it. It's going to get ceramic coating on it. We've already polished it out. It's got the full front clear bra on it, and we're going to ceramic it, put it under the lights, and get it delivered to the dealership later today, so the customer can take possession of it.
So this is a car that clearly doesn't have a license plate on it. So you took this directly from the dealership, but you always start your process with paint correction. How much paint correction do you have to do on a car that's fresh off the showroom floor?
Man, there will be cars. We had a car in here. I'm not going to mention the manufacturer, but you know how the cars will come in and they've got plastic on them usually.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever seen that. Well, if you get moisture behind that plastic, and that plastic, if it's allowed to dry at any point, it will booger up that paint something terrible, and you actually have to wet sand it to get it fixed.
Oh my God!
And this was a $250,000 car, and so that took quite a while to get that taken care of. So you never know what you're going to get, and sometimes it's not actually the dealership that's damaging the car. The port where they're coming into and where they're getting prepped is sometimes the worst out of all of them.
Okay, so we've got all of that. You also mentioned to me before the show that you're also doing a lot of radar detectors.
We're doing a lot of built-in radar detectors, and I'll walk over here. I'm going to show you my car.
Do you still have the Shelby?
That's it right there.
Yeah, baby.
It's going to the Ozarks at the end of October.
Now, is this the 350?
This is the 350 Heritage car.
Yep. Well, it's beautiful. Right. Yeah. And I have to tell everybody, I had an opportunity to hear that car run. Oh, my gosh. That car sounds absolutely incredible. Now, that's the Mustang that's got the flat flame crank in it, and it sounds so different than a regular crank.
Yeah, it's a really great sounding car. So if you look, I'm going to try to get up close here. Do you see right there? You see that little thing hanging down there?
Yeah.
That is a laser diffuser.
A laser diffuser does what?
Kills the love bugs before they hit your windshield.
You're darn right. And so if you're driving down the freeway and you get, say, you come over the hill and somebody's standing there with a laser gun, it's gonna jam that laser gun.
Ah, diffuser.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Laser diffuser.
So does it diffuse it over to the person that you just passed by 100 miles an hour?
No, but typically with these, and we've run some tests with some laser guns.
Field test?
Yeah, absolutely. I have some clients that are in law enforcement, and they were more than willing to help me. So these guns will jam and on their own. But what this does is it takes that signal and it sends back an error message, and then it shuts itself off in about 3 seconds to allow them to get another reading on you so that they don't think they're being jammed.
So it helps it jam.
Oh, it does. It does not only that,
but it also gives you enough time to slam on the brakes and get within a reasonable speed limit so you don't get a ticket.
That's right. And not only that, it gives you time to slow down, but it also, this particular technology on this system, which is the best, anti-laser priority, it tells me what kind of gun the guy is shooting at the car.
Oh.
It is ridiculous.
I love it. Well, Stephen Woodard with the DPS, never mind. Don't pay any attention to this program today.
Now, it's not a radar jammer. It also has a radar detector built into it, but laser is laser is line of sight. You come over the hill, you get no warning, you're done.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, they're really interesting. And they double as parking sensors, too. Helps with the legality.
And that's what they're there for, is parking sensors.
That's right.
The side benefit is the laser jamming.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
And those you do the install. Do they always have to be installed outside of the vehicle, or can it work through the glass?
Laser diffusers have to have a direct line of sight with the gun. They always have to have a direct line of sight. Radar detectors can run through the bumper.
So
do work well through the bumper.
I see that we have a C8 Corvette with dealer plates on it there.
Yeah. This is actually Jason Cohen's from MTI. He was a guest on your show one time.
Yes.
This is his personal car, a good friend of mine, and
man, for the money, what a car.
Unbelievable, isn't it? I don't know how they can do it for 60 grand, but whatever. So show me some other cars that you got in there.
All right, we got a Hellcat Red Eye in here. It's not the wide body edition, but man, it's fantastic. We got a Model Y, Tesla Model Y. Which
when I was in there, you always have 2 or 3 Teslas in there all the time.
Good relationship with the Tesla group for sure.
Right.
With the Tesla owners group or the Tesla sales store here in town?
Owners group. Here's your new Model 3.
Nice.
And here's a Subaru getting paint protection film. So it's not just expensive cars that we're working on here. It's your everyday driver that people want to take care of that get paint protection film on them.
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's a big investment nowadays.
Let's face it. I mean, there are a lot of people that have a regular car that they're going to keep for 10 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
An Audi R8.
Yeah.
It's an Audi R8. Yeah.
This is
beautiful. It's so funny. This is a car that we did the full front on for a client, and then another client bought it from my client, and very well taken care of car. And so we're going to finish the job and do the rest of the car. This is a 2014 Cayman for a client that I know very well. We added an integrated backup camera into the Porsche PCM module. So this guy didn't have a backup camera before. We didn't have to change his radio. It looks exactly like factory.
But it feeds the camera feed into the screen on the dash.
The existing screen on the Porsche PCM.
Well, last time we talked about this, I knew that you were really getting into all of the electronic stuff, and I guess it just kind of just through the connection that you have with these high-end owners, they're looking for somebody that can do some high-end upgrades to not only the stereos, clearly because of the radar detectors and other electronics work that you're now doing in there. So you've become a force in the electronics industry as well.
Well, I tell you, the 12-volt business is becoming tougher and tougher because the vehicles are getting harder and harder to work on. Stereos in cars, most of them are really, really good. So you've got to diversify. It's the add-ons and lights and things that these 12 guys are doing now. And you're going to see some shops that are heavy into 12 volt that didn't diversify. They're going to be gone.
Right.
Yeah.
But you also have to listen to your customers and what they're asking for, and make sure you're serving your customers correctly. Oh, look, a transit van.
All right, check this out. So this is a van for a buddy of mine that does glass. Rick at Hockley Auto Glass. He's the best I've ever seen. So what we did with this thing is he basically drove it from the dealership over here. We did a full front paint protection kit on it. We did vinyl on the black vinyl on the sides to make it look like it had windows in it. And
how funny is that?
That is really cool though, man. I love that look.
Yeah. So we also have some insulating foam that we're going to do on the entire inside of the car, and it'll keep it about 20 degrees cooler in the back of that van. It's almost like a radiant barrier for a vehicle.
That's a great idea. Yeah. My Transit, the temperature varies, especially when it gets hot out. What you need to do is the side glass stuff and have people sitting in there, different famous people in there, like George Washington.
Cardboard cutouts.
Yeah.
You could even put us in there.
Make it look like a professional sports arena.
That is so funny. That would actually be a pretty good idea, and I'm gonna mention that to him.
Be sure you get Bernie in there. Weekend at Bernie's, you need to be sure he's in there.
Well, John,
maybe you could put Sid the Squid in there.
She'd go. She'd do it.
No doubt. Well, John, what a great tour. What a great interview. We really always appreciate you taking the time and talking to us. And we want to tell everybody it's GulfCoastAutoShield.com. Am I correct?
Yeah, GCAutoshield.com, GulfCoastAutoShield.com, 832-264-0670. We're located over on Summerbell near Momentum Porsche behind Greenway Mazda. And even if somebody has a question, man, I certainly don't mind taking a phone call just to answer a question. Or if you're going to another shop, that's fantastic. I can if you're not in my part of town, I can direct you to somebody that will treat you well in town.
Well, you've been a great dear friend and a go-to guy for us here at In Wheel Time. We sure appreciate our friendship, and we thank you so much for being with us today. Tell everybody over there we said hello. Best of luck to you. Stay in touch with us, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, boys.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
man. Okay, man, we could do a 2-hour show
I
with
was
him.
sitting there, I was looking at
I'm
the
always
clock,
so-
and I was going, man, can we talk to him about another 5 minutes? Just give us 5 more minutes.
I'm always excited just to see all the toys he has in the shop.
I know.
You
Well,
he's
and-
always got such cool
and
cars.
the stuff he's talking about, like the technology he's getting into. You know, the Ram truck I got, the 2015, the new Uconnect system is so different. So I was checking around. I checked with Ram to see how, can you upgrade that? No, you got a whole new head. The technology is just so different in the 4 or 5 years that, people like him are going to have a real cool job keeping up if you can make that
Well,
adaptation.
the other thing is when you look at the level of cars he brings in there, they trust him.
Yes.
Whether it's the dealership trust him, the owner groups
yeah,
trust
absolutely.
him. So the quality of his work is exceptional.
Yep, that's
it
exactly
speaks
right.
for itself.
All right, coming up, we're going to have a review of the Nissan Murano. It's coming up next here on the In Wheel Time Car Show. Stay with us.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hey, thanks for joining us for today's In Wheel Time Car Show. We're coming to you live. And if you're listening on a podcast that we have after the show is over with, welcome to the show. This show airs every Saturday from 10 until noon, and we sure appreciate you hanging in there with us. Time now for this hour's car review. We do a car review each hour. Mr. Mars is starting off this time, this week. We kind of swap out, but you got the Nissan Murano. Love Nissans.
And this is their mid-size SUV that they've been putting out there for a couple of years now. And to get an idea of what size it is, it's kind of slotted between the Rogue and the full-size Pathfinder, which is a 3-row vehicle. And but they were smart, and they kept the Murano to a 2-seat, 2 rows passenger vehicle. So you don't have all that mess in the back in the 3rd row trying to cram in some more seats back there in that little space. Now, this does come in 4 different trim levels. You got the S, the SV, the SL, and then the Platinum. We had the SV in the front wheel drive. You can get an all-wheel drive in this vehicle, but it is truly a CUV more than an SUV because you're not going to take it off-road. You could run it down to the beach or someplace like that, or snow, it'll be fine. But to really go off-road, that's not what this vehicle is designed for. Now, on the exterior, you're going to see up front, you're going to see that V-Motion grille design that they've gone to. It works out really well across several different models. It's got the LED headlamps. The daytime running lamps are also LED rear. And we happen to have the optional fog lights that were LED as well. Heated side mirrors, had the black roof rails that go along with it. Dual panel moonroof on it. Now, this was kind of so you got a little bit up front, a little bit in the back. The way the heat's been down here in Texas, one would have been sufficient right now. Now, you're also going to find that it comes with the standard 18-inch aluminum alloy wheels.
Wow, look at that interior.
Now, you get into the interior. Yeah, we had the leather seating interior. And we had the front seats are heated. The rear seats do recline quite a bit, actually, to where it makes it a lot more comfortable because of the added leg room because they didn't put the 3rd seat in it. So up front, you're also going to find you got a 7-inch advanced driver assist display, and that's where you're going to find your gauge package with all the information for the driver. It's also got an 8-inch color display right in the center stack there. That's where you're going to find the Nissan Connect system. Now, this is their infotainment system, your Apple CarPlay, your Android Auto. One good thing about this vehicle, it's got 2 USB ports that are data and charging up front, but it's got 2 USBs in the back seat for charging so that the kids or whoever's back there can also charge their attachments. A lot of vehicles here lately have gone down to 2. So Nissan's got 4, and that's a great add. Now, you can also, because they don't have that 3rd row seat, you fold it down, you can get 67 cubic feet of space in there. Now, you want to know kind of what that is, how much space that is? Think about your refrigerator. And when you go to buy a refrigerator, how much stuff, 20 cubic feet, 23 cubic feet, something like that. Give you a little bit of an idea about how much stuff you can put in there, which is quite a bit when you go to packing it. Maybe even Jeff's whole drone kit or something. Now, up under the hood, you got one choice on the engine. It's a 3.5-liter V6, 260 horsepower, 240 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is backed by the CVT transmission. Nissan's done a great job about the CVT and how they can keep it all put together. It will tow 1,500 pounds. And the EPA says in the city you should get about 20 miles per gallon. On the highway, you'd be at 28, and you combine for about 23. Now, the week that I had it, I got 22 out of it over an overall
That's
driving.
pretty good.
And I thought it was really good because it was a nice driving vehicle. It's got a very sedan-like ride because it's kind of on that. It is built on a sedan platform, and so it's not really an off-road. It's not an off-road pretender. Don't even think about it. So if you're looking for something to compare it to, you might look at the Honda Passport for $31,990 starting. Even the new Chevy Blazer's down around $28,800, or the larger VW Atlas at $31,545. Now the Nissan Murano SV that we had started out at a base price of $35,160. We had a couple little options, get it dealer delivered and everything. The MSR as tested was $39,435.
Wow, that's a $10,000 bump.
It is. It's where we picked up all the LED, the leather seating, and the heated seating, and there's lots of stuff that came in there that if you look at it, you think, well, that's the way it is. It is. That's an upgrade on that vehicle. It's almost the top of the line.
You know, to me, when you get into a $10,000 price difference in the same model car,
Give another model upgrade.
well, you would think that you would want to look at the next step up. In this case, I don't know what
it would be the Platinum to go. So it would be top of the line.
I'm not talking about trim levels now. I'm talking about actual vehicles.
Oh, okay.
Because
okay.
The next
move
size
up.
Then you go up to the Pathfinder, which is a full 3-row vehicle, and it's considerably bigger.
But at that price point, under 40 is really very competitive with a lot of the other mid-size SUVs that are out there that are pretty well contented.
Well, and the other thing is that average prices of cars that are being sold today are really hitting on that $40,000 mark, and with 7-year financing at 0%, why not?
Well, and that's the other thing. You got to look at that 0% financing, and if you're like a lot of us and you keep a vehicle 10, 12, even 13 years sometimes, that 7% at zero, if you can get it, it's pretty enticing.
Yep.
Pretty enticing.
Well, I'm just saying,
to say the least.
So, what's it, like $12 per thousand?
12 or 13 or something like that, depending on where you're at. But again, but if you're somebody that turns a vehicle over every 2 or 3 years, then you might not have. That's probably not the thing to do.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, time now. Let's do the events calendar real quick. We got about a minute or so.
So tonight is Nifty 50s is on. Remember, Randy's going every other week now. So Nifty 50s up at Grogan's Mill, up in the Woodlands. The Sam Schmidt benefit this afternoon at 2 p.m. in Magnolia. There is the Third Coast Takeover at the Sam Houston Race Park. That's at 2 p.m. today. 5 p.m. today is the car show for Camp Hope and the monthly cruise out of Santa Fe. 6 p.m. tonight is the Kima Car Meet and Show. That's an every week event. Great event to go to. Tomorrow morning is going to be the Houston SCCA Autocross in Lamarck at the Greyhound track. So Richard Tomlin and his crew will be there as well. The Low Life meet at 249.
That's a Don Armstrong event.
Well, it's a lowrider club.
Low Life
at the Rodeo Bar and Grill off of Highway 249 in Tomball, and Sunday night is going to be Freddy's at 1960 in Eldridge, and Wednesday night will be Freddy's out in Katy. Friday night will be Freddy's at Kirkendall in 2920.
Freddy's is hot into the car club.
The Freddy's Steak Burger place has got a real good relationship with Kerry Kirkley and Showplace Classics.
Okay.
And there's like 5 meets throughout town that they're very consistent with every weekend.
Very nice. Hey, calling all car, truck, and Jeep clubs. We'd love to feature you a bunch in our car club spotlight. All you have to do is shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Please include your contact information. We'll get your bunch on the show. And In Wheel Time continues after this quick break.